All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Do you understand?
G'day guys, Chaos Crew. Alright, so this is the Chaos Chronicles, and I thought today that we would talk about my first jail sentence, because I've only recently realised that I probably 100 million % could have avoided that. Or not probably, once I tell you, you will see that I could have avoided that. And I just want to point out the importance of this video is that the longer you can avoid staying out of prison if you are in that life, the better, because I know that when you're in that life, everyone has this you really want to prove to everyone that you can stand the test of going to prison or whatever. And so everyone always kind of in that life, well, I know I 100% did. I couldn't wait to get there just so I could prove to everyone that I would be able to handle it, and that I could say that I've been to prison, probably more, the truth. But all right, so I was actually charged with assault police, but it wasn't actually assault police. So I did smash the headlight of the cop car, and it's a bit of a anyway. So we were all out drinking at a pub one night at a bar, and actually it was still the daytime, to be honest, when we were there, and then we all got kicked out of there because we were just too gone, they kicked us out for being intoxicated, and we definitely were. And so we went back to my mate's place where we continued to party. And so anyway, I remember so where I was drinking at the time, it's a small, very small town where there's only one cop, right? And so anyway, the neighbours obviously have called the police on us. Now, apparently the police were called on us as we were leaving the bar anyway, because we were just yahooing, and I was only just turned 18 years old, and so young, dumb, and yeah. So anyway, the police have rocked up, and so my mate who lived in this town, this was a couple of towns down from where I live, and so anyway, my mate lived in that town, and so the cops at the door grilling him, and this is his house. And so anyway, I've heard this, I'm at the back of the house, and so I've came up to the door and I said to the cop, mate, in the most colourful language you can think of, to go away, and I said F off and all that, rah, rah, rah. And so anyway, he's told me he's not going, and then told me that if I didn't get back in the house that I was going to get pepper sprayed. And so he actually pulled out his pepper spray, and I knocked it out of his hand, right? I didn't touch his hand or nothing. I just hit the pepper spray. In all honesty, I probably could have got the assault probably could have been against the officer, but anyway, he's then retreated to his vehicle. I then went up to his vehicle and said, yeah, I actually thought that I was winning some kind of battle here, because he retreated to his car, and when he was trying to drive off, I hit the front headlight with a rock, and, obnoxious behaviour. But at the time, I make, I don't try and sugarcoat it at all. I was a scumbag, and am 100% into that life at that time. And so he obviously drove off, and I was walking back to my mates. And so anyway, the drinking went on, and I actually thought they're all saying that they're going to come back, and I'm like, no way, he ain't coming back. He's scared, not even thinking that he's going to come back with 10 mates, which is exactly what happened. So fast forward about an hour and a half later, we're all chilling there, and I was that legless that I was passed out in the bath, with no water in it, just kicking back in the bath. And I remember that I woke up to the sound of a bang or something, which turned out to be the front door. And I remember looking to my left and seeing the front door go right past the bathroom door, And yeah, anyway, like I didn't think, but 10 cops came in there, and they gave me a fair touch up before they put me in that in the divvy van and took me back. So I ended up getting assault police. So at this time, I'd been getting drunk, like for like drunken fights at pubs and stuff before. So, but I'd never really been in any on bail. Like I had been on 2 bails before, but I completed it, so it wasn't really an issue at that time. So they gave me bail, and I remember I was on, like, I had to sign in 5 days a week. So, but it was every second day. I had to sign in every second day, and it was a nightmare. And yeah, so basically, yeah, I was on bail and had to wait to go to my court case. And so I went to my court case, and I remember there was so many people there, and I remember like I literally remember saying to one of my bikie mates before I walked in there, like, watch this, My barrister told me that they were thinking about giving me community service, and I didn't really agree with it. Like, I didn't agree with the community service at the time. I was like, yeah, I was kind of, well, what I actually said was, I don't work for money. I'm not going to work for no money. So anyway, the judge said, look, we're going to get you assessed for a community-based order. And I was like, yeah, all right. And so, like, I hadn't said anything at this stage. So anyway, he adjourned the court case off for an hour or so I could get assessed by Corrections Victoria for a community-based order. And so I got approved for it, and I just kept saying to the lady, I'm like, I don't think I want to do this, And so anyway, I remember the judge goes, all right, stand up, it's time for your sentencing. And he goes, right, now what we've done here is we've given you 275 hours community work, community hours. And I had to do that like 3 days a week until that time was paid off. And if that's a lot of time, community work. And I was just like, I ain't doing this. And my exact words to the judge was what I said earlier, which was, Your Honour, I don't work for money. I don't know what makes you think that I am going to work for no money. And I remember he just took a step back in his chair, and he pulled his glasses down to the bottom of his nose like that. And he said, all right then, Mr. So-and-so, if that's how you want to play it, that's how we're going to play it. Obviously, you're showing out for all your mates that are in the courtroom right now. And so I'm going to play right into that. And so he said, righto, mate, you are now sentenced to 3 months jail. And at the time, that seemed like a million years, right? And I remember, and to be honest, like, I've always said this from the start too, that sentence there, was the longest. It felt like it took the longest as far as every day, and like, it just seemed like every day was a million years. And I remember writing letters to my girlfriend and writing letter to my mom and saying I made a mistake. This was the dumbest thing I ever did. And yeah, I just, everything spun me out about jail. Like, you hear all the horror stories, and then, there's all the TV shows and everything like that, but nothing prepared me for jail like it was, And as you guys know, I told you I had a pretty big fight. My first sentence was how I got my nickname, and so I ended up in the slot on that first sentence, and then I think I ended up staying about a month and a half at the map, and then I ended up going to an open camp, and so yeah, I've ended up at an open camp twice, and they were on my first and second sentences, and yeah, I haven't been back since. But to be honest, I probably wouldn't want to do my jail that way anyway. Like, it's pretty strict and rah rah rah. But like I said at the start, my whole point of this of this video is to let you people know, don't be a dickhead and think that, showing out for your mates for something like that and going to jail, because I promise you, once you make that mistake and you go to prison once, that revolving door is like, that's your option from then on in. Whereas you probably had maybe some more community based orders, some like intensive corrections orders, like ICOs or a CCO, which is community corrections orders, where you do like 6 month sentence and then 6 months of an order. You've got so many things that you can do before they give you full on straight out, like, jail. And if you're only getting caught for like I'll say, like drug habit crimes, like stealing and stuff, you're going to go through so many of them before they actually send you to jail. Like, regardless of what people think, they actually don't want to send people to jail as willy-nilly as they think. If they can keep, you know as much as society out of prison as they can, they will. And especially now, they think like that more so than ever before, because our jail systems are back, like they are packed to the rafters. And, I've mentioned in videos before where, there had been 3 people in single cells, where they had those little cots out on the floor. Like, that's how full jail has been. And, hence why they had to build other prisons like Margate and Ravenhall, because the jails that we had just couldn't cope. But like, my message of this video is, don't ruin your life for your reputation. Do you know what I mean? Like, your reputation, for me, I ruined my life for my reputation, and I always built on it. It was like a Lego set for me. Like, I just found more and more ways I could build on it to make my reputation crazier and crazier. And, you know, I remember one day years ago, like a really close friend to me, like a really close friend, one that I had for a very long time, said that, you don't have any friends, people only respect you out of fear, and that really like opened my eyes up, which kind of was weird because that's what I wanted, but like it really made me think like, oh damn, they're right, and like, so don't go wasting your life so your mates can pump your tires up and say that you're crazy, this and that. Like, that it's just not cool, you know what I mean? Especially if you're a dad and stuff like that, man. Like I've said, it just go out, get a job, set like good examples for your children. And that doesn't mean that you have to turn into a pussy or whatever. You can still have your pride and follow the G code, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? You're just not committing crime. But yeah, I can't stress enough how like one silly decision like that in your life when you're living that life is going to be a life changer for you. And it's those silly decisions that you're looking back on 20 years later and you're going, damn, if I'd have done that differently, I probably would have lived a different life. Even though I don't have any regrets in my life, about the way I live my life, only because it turned me into the person I am today. And sometimes you need to walk through hell before you can experience heaven, so to speak. And that's exactly what I did. I just stayed down there for a lot longer than expected. But yeah, like, look, guys, I can't stress enough. Like, don't it's if you're doing this shit, do it for the right reasons. Do you know what I mean? And if you're doing it to support your family, like, which is a rare thing these days, you know what I mean, then, well, I ain't ever gonna fault you for doing anything to support your family, because I know what it's like to do what you got to do to put food on your kids' tables. You know what I mean? I've been there, I've done that, so I respect the hustle, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, don't go to jail for your friends. Do you know what I mean? Because when you do go to jail, you're going to find out who your real friends are. I've said this a million times before. Out of 10 of your solid mates, if you all go to jail for the same thing, 6, 7, 8 of them are going to dob on you. 3 of them are going to try and sleep with your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever. That's just what happens. And make no mistake about it, your group of mates isn't no different than any other. When you're tested with a big crime, you will find the real eke of the men of your crew. That's what I found in my time. Had a staunch crew and we were doing smaller shit, and everyone still had the same bravado and whatnot. When we started getting pinched for the bigger shit, that's when people started dropping off. Because when you're looking at big time, like when the cops say to you, "You ain't going home for 10 years, mate," what are you talking about? That is enough to make your bloody behind go 5 cent, 50 cent, 5 cent, 50 cent. You are peaking, mate. I'm telling you. And it doesn't matter how staunch you are, rah, rah, rah. The first time you are faced with that kind of sentence, mate, doesn't matter how much of a man you are, that is going to test your ilk. I am telling you. That is going to test your gangster, so to speak, Um, but yeah, like I said, don't go to prison for your friends. I've done it before, and does that mean you have to like give up crime and become a snitch? No, it does not mean that. You know what I mean? You don't have to like become a snitch to be a normal member of societies. There are plenty normal members of societies that ain't going around snitching on people. I'm telling you. So, just because you're not doing crime doesn't mean you are a snitch, which is sadly what a lot of people think. But, unfortunately, that's not the way it works. But yeah, there you go, guys. I guess my message is, if you got to do this shit, you want to be doing it for the right reasons because, when the piper comes to collect, and believe me, the piper collects, that, you're going to be wishing that you were doing it for the right reasons. There's a lot of people sitting in jail right now that don't have any qualms with what they done because they literally did what they did to put food on their kids' table. And you know what, I got to respect that because, there's plenty of people that won't go down that road and will get their kids taken off them and not fight for them. And it's just horrible. But yeah, all right, guys, don't do it for your mates. It ain't worth it. And yeah, trust me, the only person who's going to be paying for it in the end is you. Is you. And trust me, come back 10, 15 years down the track, and I'm telling you, you will be able to say, Chaos, you were 100% right. Dead set 75% of my mates ended up being not real mates, and that's a sad fact that you will find over time. It's just a fact. All right, guys, I have been the Chaos Chronicles. You have been the Chaos Crew. If you haven't shot me a subscribe, jump up there, shoot me a subscribe. That would be absolutely appreciated. Smash that bell. That way you'll never miss any of my clips ever again. It will send you a notification. And I will see you guys in our next clip. And yeah, ciao, ciao. We out.
I am also the guy who decides if you and your friends walk out of here or not.